What's up, Angels? My name is Jim from the Block. I sing for the band Impure Conception, and today I'm going to be showing off 10 kind of like weirder, out there, more underground, very underground, like really obscure 90s death metal gems that I like never see people talk about. So I figured I'd show you guys like 10 really cool bands out. First band is a band called Iratrose. You would have seen this on my top 10 brutal death metal albums of all time video from like 5 years ago. Let me know in the comments if you want me to read through that video. It's been about 5 years. My tastes have definitely changed, but I have the tape and the CD. These are a lot harder to come by nowadays, but back when I started collecting like 6-7 years ago, these were like a dime a dozen. I love this band. It's kind of like proto brutal death metal. Has some very cool art. Kind of reminds me of like the Carbonized album with all this, but it's like a lighter, more attainable Deeds of Flesh, like technical, like gore, gutty, suffocation. You know the style. But yeah, I always recommend Iratrose. Very like if you're transitioning from old school death metal to like old school brutal death metal, like 90s stuff, this is like a go-to for me. I love Iratrose. I cannot talk about them enough. Next band is a band called Human Waste. This was a Lard Records' original press. I don't know if this has been repressed, but I picked this up from a guy I knew on Facebook. Very cool. It's kind of like very high screamed. Like the vocals on this are like insanely high pitched, like crazy screams. Not like grindcore, like term on term grindcore, but there's definitely a lot of like older weird grind elements. But the vocals on this, some of the highest pitched. Some like if you're into like that frantic, almost like not impetigo, but like very just high pitched screams. This one's for you. You know, like rival Scatter Remnants level of high pitched screams. Next band is a band called Dead Loss with Fourth Dimension. I was kind of taken back that this was the only thing the band ever released to my knowledge. They never had an album. It was just this demo or EP or whatever, and that was it. It's an incredible one, let me tell you that. Very weird, very like slow and doomy, and then it kind of like ramps up and goes into like this like Barney Greenway, Napalm Death, Harmony Corruption type of like style, which I love. Like I love Utopia, Banished, Harmony Corruption. Like that era of Napalm Death is one of my favorite things musically ever. Big influence to me, and my vocals as well. It kind of has like proto, like what you would call like slams, but not like the slams you know now, like kind of like 90s slam. So I was like, holy crap, like I wish I had a copy. No one has one to sell on mine yet, but that's something that I'm like, oh, you gotta check it out. Next one, band called Rest in Pain. This is kind of more of your like meat and potato type of death metal. It does have a little bit more of those like old school brutal death metal grindcore elements to it, but I thought it was a very cool, underrated gem. Not really much to say, but I would love to add this one to my collection as well as along with yours. You know, if you're into that type of style, it's a high recommend. Very cool one. And the next one, number 6, is a band called Mangled Torsos, and it's one of my all-time favorite old school death metal albums. It has a very big Carcass, early Mortal Decay sound, like the Dawn of Misery frog vocals. When I was working for the city of Philadelphia, working for the park, I would literally just have Mortal Decay, Dawn of Misery, Utopia, Banished by Napalm Death, and Mangled Torsos on like repeat. That's all I would listen to, because the frog vocals on the Mangled Torsos is just so incredible. And then it just kind of gets like, not like melodic like you think of like Heartwork, Carcass, or like At the Gates, but like very nice like guitar melodies in the song structures. I cannot praise Mangled Torsos enough. I think it is like top 10 obscure list. And this isn't a top 10 list or anything. I'm just showing off like really cool stuff. The next one, Embriionic Death. I do have the demo compilation from Pathos. This is the one you want, the Regurgitate the Dead. That's the one you want. That's kind of like the most brutal one. The ones before that are kind of more so like a little like carcassy. So the change in style, very much young kids. Like look at that. Look at that kid wearing the Altars of Madness shirt. But yeah, like very like early proto brutal death metal. Has like a very funny like Looney Tunes intro to it. I don't know where it's from, but if you listen to that demo, you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's like very out there for like New York. Like it's not like the Baphomet, Morpheus Descends, Malevolent Creation type of like New York death metal. Especially also like Baphomet, Internal Bleeding. Like it's not really that sound, which is cool for the area. The next band is a band called Nefas. I hope I'm saying that right. I don't know how to say that, but I found this band not too long ago. It reminded me like very much of like, speaking about like New York death metal, like the Malignancy, what else? Like Deeds of Flesh type of like guitar work, very like old school technical, not like the modern technical where, you know, like Necrophagist and Spawn of Possession where it gets like really crazy wonkery, but you know, like that like Atheist, War Guts, early Suffocation sound, with like the Malignancy, Deeds of Flesh, very much like technical, like very heavy and crushing. Like the vocals are very heavy, the songs are very fast. So definitely check this out. The album artwork looks really killer. But this is like later 90s. This is like the latest thing. This is like 99. A lot of this stuff is like early to mid, but I did want to show off that. Once again, that is Nefas. I don't want to say like Nefas, you know, Nefas. Next band is called Tata. I hope I said that right as well. I think this is an Illinois band, but it looks very cool. Very like early Cannibal Corpse type of sound in the music. You will notice like the same similar like structures, kind of like something else like Mortem. I think like Rush or something. I don't even know, like Amputator. But that I don't know where that is from actually. I forget. But yeah, kind of like that like sound like the early like Eaten Back to Life, Tomb of the Mutilated type of like sound for the early, not so much like the Cannibal Corpse worship of like Vile or Sepsism in like the later 90s for brutal death metal. This is a little bit more of that like earlier type of like thrashier sound. Second to last band is a band called Caronoken. Now this is a Canadian band, so Canada has a lot of good bands like Obscene Crisis, Hidden Pride, of course Cryptopsy. But this one is kind of like, again, like similar with like the Cannibal, like the early like Meat and Potatoes, like Cannibal Corpse ripoff sound. This is more so like more akin to something like Broken Hope, but this one has a lot more like technical songs, kind of like not technical, but like more actual sophisticated riffs and structures, kind of like some like Chuck Schuldiner, Cynic, Atheist stuff happening like a little bit at times, like kind of separated from like, you know, the early Cannibal Corpse, Broken Hope type of sound that was very prevalent. But I do love the Caronoken stuff. I always recommend. Some very cool artwork. It has been reissued on CD with along of all their other stuff. The tapes are running around $60 to $80 nowadays. The last one that's been sold, to my knowledge, on Discogs is like $21. So there's some inflation with that right now, along with a lot of other things going into 2026 soon. But the last one I wanted to show off is a New Jersey local band to me. This is Supremia with Subconscious Rot. This has been reissued on vinyl. This is the original cassette tape version. I've seen this band like 2 or 3 times, so I have gotten it signed by some of the original members that were on this, like Lou. Now, to me, Supremia were one of the better, like, early old school death metal bands from the area. You know, you had stuff like Daemonacy, Ripping Corpse, Revenant, Mortal Decay, you know, Torture Crypt, Gaffed. I think this holds up really well, along with those said bands. I saw them at like a sport bar like 2 or 3 months ago. They sounded just as good as they would in like 90s clips. The band sounds phenomenal still. It really do. If you're into vinyl, I highly recommend getting the vinyl reissue. It looks really, really good. The artwork for this is, of course, like some black and white, which is like, you know, that is what it is for the 90s. But the vinyl reissue, it's like this entire, like, it just looks really nice. Same with the Mortal Decay reissue, the Gathering of Human Artifacts vinyl reissue. That's one of my favorite artworks as well. But there you have it. Those are the 10. I want to keep doing more of these because I do want, like, not to be like a Ken's Crypt type of channel, but I do have a lot in my collection that I just love to show off. And I feel like I'm really passionate to the point of music that I really love talking about it, to the point where I want to influence others. Yeah, it's just something I like to do. I do like the skits that I do every once in a while too. I do have a plan to do a lot more skits soon when I have the time. I want to do a lot more informational videos. But let me know if you guys want longer videos, like the 20-30 minute type of videos, or you want like the 5 to 10 minute videos. It's really up to what you guys want. Please do subscribe and hit that bell. We surpassed 10,000 subscribers. Let's try to get to 15,000 subscribers soon. I do have my Q&A, so I have everyone's questions. I'm going to be doing that very shortly with work and time. But once again, thank you so much, and peace out.